the Hurt Syndicate took on the AEW Tag Team Champions Private Party in a match that was for the titles. Now, just look at these two teams when they come out. Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, they look like stars. The way they're dressed, they look like a team. They came out with the baseball caps, the cool yellow merch shirts, the matching tights, and MVP's with them wearing a nice suit. I mean, the Hurt Syndicate have looked like stars ever since they walked into the company. Because you have to remember, a lot of the AEW roster, they're smaller guys, they're skinny, they are independent wrestlers, they haven't worked in the WWE, or if they have, it's not on like a major level like Shelton and Bobby Lashley have. Like many AEW wrestlers have worked as extras in WWE, but that doesn't count. Anyway, so when you have a match like this, it shows the wide gap in star power between ex-WWE people and AEW's homegrown talent. So, like the Hurt Syndicate make their way to the ring, looking awesome, looking like the biggest stars in the company, to be honest. And then Private Party comes out and they look like underfed teenagers compared to Lashley and Shelton. I don't want to insult Private Party. I'm sure they love pro wrestling. They've been in the industry for years. A lot of fans like them. A lot of fans like the way they wrestle with the flips and the dives, and they're very athletic. But man, when they came out, they looked like lambs on their way to a slaughter. Like I'm looking at them and I'm looking at Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I'm like, this is going to be absolute domination by the Hurt Syndicate, or at least it should be, because that's what I was paying attention to. Is like, you know, if they're going to try to make this realistic at all, it's got to be complete destruction of Private Party. So anyway, Private Party, they get in the ring with the Hurt Syndicate. And I'm really paying close attention because I'm like, there's no way Shelton and Bobby should be selling for these guys. And it's no disrespect to them. It's just, this doesn't make any sense. You're looking at two monsters against like two little kids. It just doesn't work. And I think it's hilarious because AEW started as a company that was supposed to be the alternative to the WWE. Now, all these years later, all these people who used to work in the WWE, they come over to AEW and they're the ones who are presented as the legitimate stars. Mercedes Moné is the TBS champion. Now, the Hurt Syndicate, they win this match. They became the tag team champions. Look at who the AEW world champions have been. CM Punk, Jon Moxley, who used to be Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho. Yes, they've had other guys, but look at how many ex-WWE guys won titles. And it's just so funny to me. Whenever you put an ex-WWE person in the ring with one of AEW's homegrown talents, it's just, it's embarrassing. So having to watch Lashley and Shelton sell anything for Private Party was brutal, because there was one particular spot where Zay hit like a tornado DDT on Shelton after like bouncing off of his partner's back. His partner is standing on the apron. It looked like such a choreographed, ridiculous move. Again, it took me out of the match. Whenever I see stuff like that, that obviously was talked about beforehand, and it doesn't look like an actual move you would use in a fight if you were actually fighting with each other, I'm like, come on. And then to watch Shelton have to take that, I'm like, that makes Shelton look real foolish. You know, especially since Shelton is doing a good job here in AEW, and if they want to present him as a single star at some point, they really could. They've already had him lose a bunch of matches, unfortunately. They shouldn't have done that. They really could have done something real special with Shelton. I still think they can. I mean, I expect one day Bobby Lashley to become world champion. It would be hilarious if Shelton became, well, I mean, not hilarious, but it would be like mind-blowing if Shelton became world champion, just because so many people had written off Shelton Benjamin years ago. But I could totally see Shelton winning a singles title in AEW. So yeah, some of the offense from Private Party looks so phony that it hurt Shelton's credibility or Bobby's credibility, but there wasn't much of it, which I liked. So they were smart about that. This was a logical match that mostly made sense. I would say like 90-something% of it was seriously done and didn't look like, okay, they talked about this beforehand. It's only that tornado DDT spot that really stood out, but it's just the way Private Party looks just makes the whole thing a farce. Zay was wearing a cut-off fishnet shirt, and only Christian Cage can pull that off, Zay. You can't wear that. I mean, it's already bad enough that you look like a little kid compared to Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, but now you got a fishnet shirt on? What are you, crazy? That's what you're going to wear for your big match against Shelton and Bobby Lashley that you know everybody's going to be watching? I mean, everybody who watches AEW anyway. Like, you're going to wear that cutoff shirt and make yourself look like a fool? Oh, boy. But at least at the end of the match, Lashley and Shelton absolutely manhandled them to finish off the match and win the tag titles, which is the way it should be. I mean, the Hurt Syndicate, they're legit stars. Holy cow. I mean, the way they're being presented here, it's excellent so far. And it's funny because supposedly the Death Riders are the big, bad, terrifying group in AEW when they don't look like that at all. Meanwhile, you got the Hurt Syndicate, and they look like they could dominate this entire company. And I hope that they do.